Today on Eternity Lab, we will show you the most amazing moments caught on cameras around the world.
Bueno, aquí está la plaza donde yo venía.
From devastating storms and unexpected floods to touching scenes with wild animals and incredible natural phenomena, every moment is unique and mind-blowing. This is Eternity Lab, the laboratory of timeless content. Strong winds hit the town of Bogo in Norway as Storm Ingunn reached the coast. The footage shows the harbor between the islands west of Trondheim, and from the sound of the wind alone, you can tell this is a real squall. Powerful hail covered roads in central Poland in May as severe storms swept through the region. Footage filmed by a local resident shows blocked streets and piles of hail in the city of Gniezno. The storm triggered numerous rescue operations in the area. Homes and public buildings were flooded, including a hospital, a police station, and schools. Drivers in Denmark were stuck on a highway on the night of January 4 after heavy snowfall from Storm Hank hit parts of the country. You can see what the E45 motorway looked like north of Aarhus, Denmark's second largest city. Ecuador's Ministry of the Environment said that the famous Galapagos rock formation known as Darwin's Arch no longer exists. The famous arch collapsed into the sea near Darwin Island because of natural erosion, the ministry said. The director of an ocean research organization said she and her team were the last people to see the arch before it collapsed. Luckily, they left us this footage to remember it by. Elephants cooling off with a swim is a normal sight in their natural habitat. What makes this footage remarkable is that it was filmed at Woburn Safari Park in England. Female Asian elephants Chandrika, Damini, and Tarly splash in the lake, dunk their heads underwater, and trumpet loudly with joy. The reason is that the United Kingdom had recorded its hottest day, with temperatures rising above 86 degrees Fahrenheit. You have to admit, that is pretty hot for foggy old England.
Bueno, aquí está la plaza donde yo venía a pasear. Y ahí está el local, miren cómo se rompió la pared del costo. En la plaza.
Volunteers continued the cleanup in Paiporta, south of Valencia, after a deadly flood. Footage filmed by a local enthusiast shows muddy streets piled with debris. Emergency services alone were not enough to deal with a disaster like this, so residents took to the streets to help one another. A group of paleontologists in the Brazilian state of Rio Grande do Sul discovered an almost complete dinosaur skeleton. It emerged from the ground after major erosion caused by catastrophic flooding. University scientists conducting the excavation estimated the fossils to be about 233 million years old. Natural weathering exposes new fossils every year in central Rio Grande do Sul, and the recent excessive rainfall accelerated erosion, bringing new fossils out among the rocks. Later in the lab, the find was identified as an almost complete skeleton of a Herrerasaurid dinosaur, making it the second most complete specimen of its kind in the world.
Oh, it's a mess.
Maybe I never find.
kind of cute.
Go, goats, go. Back to where you came from, please. Who knew we were goat wranglers now?
Texas caught a herd of goats that had escaped from their pen and wandered through the neighborhood. The city of Arlington had recently brought hundreds of goats to the Crystal Canyon Natural Area to clear underbrush. A group of the animals managed to escape their enclosure and set off on a morning walk. Footage released by the Arlington Police Department shows several officers herding the goats through the neighborhood at about 7:30 in the morning.
Going this way, we need them to go that way. I told you, it's a bunch of goats. They don't have a choice.
Can I move my car back?
I don't know.
Go, goats, go! Get back where you came from! One officer says in the footage, "Who knew we were goat herders now?" Police said all the goats were safely returned to the park, so apparently anyone can become a goat herder in Texas.
Dude, this is the most insane thing I've ever. Come on, goats. Keep on moving. You sure don't. I didn't know we had goats.
Firefighters contained a fast-growing wildfire that broke out in Catalonia, Spain. The fire was reported at around 250 p.m. and spread quickly, but it slowed down a few hours later because of the terrain. Emergency workers received 224 calls related to the fire, which destroyed about 62 acres of woodland. In this aerial footage released by the Catalan Fire Service, you can see billowing smoke. From the air, it is possible to grasp the true scale of the disaster.
Yee-hoo!
Two Dutch military helicopters dropped large bags of rocks to help build a temporary dam in the city of Maastricht after rainy weather and high water levels caused a spillway dam to fail. The rocks helped form a temporary dam that allowed crews to begin repair work on the damaged spillway. Around 60 bags, weighing a total of about 1.06 million pounds, were dropped into the water by two Royal Netherlands Air Force helicopters. In this footage, you can see crushed stone being poured into the water before the helicopters arrive. Two helicopters worked on Saturday and Sunday, and on Monday, heavy equipment was used to reinforce the temporary dam with rocks. Brazilian scientists said that in November 2022, they discovered rocks formed from plastic waste on Brazil's Trindade Island. The remote volcanic island in the South Atlantic, located about 620 miles east of mainland South America, is an important protected area for marine life. Green sea turtles nest there, and other than 30 Brazilian Navy service members, it has no permanent population. Researchers came across the plastic rocks while conducting geological mapping work and called the discovery alarming. These artificial rocks were formed by plastic from fishing nets and other marine debris fusing with sand, gravel, and volcanic rock. Plastistones were identified as a new type of formation created by the constant flow of plastic waste into the ocean and carried to the planet's most remote corners. It has already reached critical levels, meaning that because of human interference in the geological environment, we have moved from the Holocene into a new epoch, the Anthropocene. In the Philippines, after the eruption of Bulusan volcano, a column of ash burst out of the crater. Video filmed by a local resident in Sorsogon province shows an ash cloud covering the morning sky. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology reported that the gray ash column rose more than half a mile, and wet ash fell on nearby villages. So that gloomy, suffocating morning was not caused by bad weather, but by an angry volcano. Cherry blossom season in Japan is one of the main events of the year and the brightest natural spectacle as a tourist attraction. The 2020 cherry blossom season was in full swing on March 28th, but COVID-19 restrictions prevented visitors and local residents from enjoying the gardens. So an enthusiast captured magical views of blooming cherry trees along Tokyo's famous Meguro River Promenade and shared them online, giving those who could not come a chance to see the beautiful trees anyway. A noble mission, wouldn't you say? Loess Bluffs National Wildlife Refuge in northern Missouri serves as a stopover for hundreds of thousands of migratory birds traveling from Canada to Mexico during migration season. Video filmed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service shows what the refuge estimated to be about 500,000 snow geese descending onto the lake. Just imagine how much food they must need. Hundreds of dolphins were spotted by a whale-watching tour group off the coast of Newport Beach, California. The tour boat was moving at about 12 miles per hour, and a huge pod was racing alongside it. This dolphin behavior is known as stampeding, when they quickly leap above the surface of the water. The reasons dolphins stampede are unknown, but they may be fleeing predators or heading toward areas with more food. Nature is often extremely merciless to wild animals. A swan frozen on the ice-covered Dnipro River in Ukraine was rescued by rescue divers. We see a diver tied to a boat with a rope crawling across thin ice to reach the swan. The man briefly fell into the icy water while trying to hold the injured bird, but his colleagues successfully pulled both him and the swan back into the boat. Even in a state of emergency, people still find compassion for our smaller brothers. Severe flooding caused by Storm Kirk paralyzed the northern French town of Coulommiers, east of Paris. Footage filmed by a resident shows streets in the town center underwater as rescuers try to reach people trapped by floodwaters. Officials said the water began to recede after the rain stopped, but warned that many streets remained closed and urged people to avoid the area. More than 400 homes in the town center lost power because of the flooding. According to statistics, it was the worst flood in the area since 1958. Officials described the landscape of the French Overseas Department of Mayotte as apocalyptic after a cyclone devastated the island, which lies in the southeastern Indian Ocean. Footage filmed by a local resident shows the aftermath of the cyclone. The island, already considered the poorest territory in France and the European Union, looked pitiful, and disaster response efforts required help from rescue services, fire brigades, and Air Force units mobilized overseas. Tropical Storm Philippe was downgraded to a post-tropical cyclone after reaching Bermuda. Meteorological services said the expected intensity of storm conditions on the island had significantly decreased. The tropical storm warning was replaced by an advisory for sustained winds that could at times be close to gale force. Strong winds, rip currents, and powerful waves created extreme conditions not only in the ocean, but also on roads inland. Footage filmed by a weather eyewitness shows heavy surf at Astwood Cove in Bermuda. Lightning flashed over Naples as severe weather hit southern Italy. The person who filmed this video also took a photo of clouds over the Gulf of Naples in the afternoon before the storm, and we can see how densely they covered the sky. A yellow weather alert was issued for Naples, and crushing rain caused damage across the area, even making a road collapse in the suburbs. A British tourist was stunned when she woke up at her villa in Greece and saw a waterspout. Footage filmed on her camera shows the waterspout forming from a town on Zakynthos Island in the Ionian Sea. It kept growing and changing shape for about 10 minutes. People woke up to thunder and lightning and watched the weather develop the way they would normally watch the sunrise. But that morning, nature had prepared a surprise for them. The opening day of a music festival in Miami became its closing day because of severe weather conditions. A tornado warning did not promise anything good, and flooding suddenly struck that evening. Organizers had to announce that the event was being canceled because of lightning and strong winds, and they advised concertgoers to calmly leave the park. In this case, a thunderstorm disrupted even larger spectacles. Lightning flashed behind the Eiffel Tower late at night as a powerful storm swept through the city. This disrupted the Olympic Games, but crowds continued to gather around the landmark at about 10 p.m. They were leaving a volleyball match when they recorded the video. According to Le Parisien, thunderstorms interrupted a basketball game between France and Serbia, as well as a China versus USA beach volleyball match. According to the French weather agency, an orange storm alert was issued for the region for the following days. A village in the French Alps was wiped off the map by a torrent of mud and rocks when flooding hit the region. The landslide was caused by heavy rainfall combined with melting snow, which made the consequences twice as severe. We see footage of a rescue operation in the village of La Béraude. A native of the village told Le Parisien, "My village disappeared before my eyes. That must be a bitter feeling." A playful lynx and a North American river otter delighted visitors at the Maryland Zoo in Baltimore with their funny antics. The footage shows Kilgore the lynx and Bree the otter happily frolicking in fresh snow. Not every animal at the Maryland Zoo loves snow, but lynxes and North American river otters are native to the mid-Atlantic and make the most of this time of year. It is amazing that animals, even as adults, keep the ability to play and feel joy. Not all people can boast the same. Thunderstorm clouds streaked across the sky over parts of New Jersey on a Friday evening as severe thunderstorms threatened the region. In this shot, we can see the situation developing before the storm in Ocean County. Clearly, the weekend promised to be dramatic. Thunderstorms brought dark clouds and bright lightning to parts of western Oregon. This footage shows lightning repeatedly piercing the sky southeast of Portland. The county issued a severe thunderstorm warning with gusty winds and possible hail, so the lightning dance was only the opening act of the show. Orange clouds streaked across the evening sky as a fiery sunset lit up the horizon in New Jersey. This incredible sunset was filmed in Lumberton, and according to the person who captured it, it looked like a fireball sweeping across the sky. Huge plumes of smoke from a fire burning across two major areas, Hermit's Peak and Calf Canyon, were visible from nearby Santa Fe, New Mexico, and the situation was still dangerous.
A time-lapse shows smoke plumes near Santa Fe. The wildfire became the largest in the state's history. According to firefighters, it burned more than 386 square miles of woodland and was only 26% contained. So the beauty of this sunset was actually very ominous.
Smoky skies created an eerie sunset in Los Angeles. Massive fires led to a state of emergency and forced about 30,000 people to evacuate affected areas. The footage shows the sky colored like flames in the Venice area of Los Angeles. The Los Angeles County Fire Department said extreme fire behavior was making containment difficult. Several people were injured as severe thunderstorms hit Sydney. For example, 4 people were standing under a tree in the Botanic Garden when lightning struck it. This video captured heavy rain and gusty winds battering the shoreline in Sydney Harbor. An orange rainbow was spotted over a preserve in Phoenix, Arizona after scattered storms that day. This video was recorded by a hiker during a sunset walk. We see calm in the sky as the rainbow shines in warm colors over the desert landscape. Visitors to Niagara Falls were able to see a spectacular rainbow. This footage of the rainbow was captured by a nature lover from Monroe County, New York, who visited the falls to celebrate his birthday with his family. He said the sight was majestic. Yes, nature gave him an unforgettable birthday present. A fireball was spotted in the sky over Wall Township, New Jersey at about 3:00 m. Local media reported that the phenomenon was also seen in Pennsylvania and New York, and about 60 unofficial reports were submitted to the American Meteor Society. A funnel cloud was spotted in the sky over Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This footage, filmed by a local resident, shows the tornado touching down and creating sparks. This time, no one was hurt by the storm, and the damage was described as minor. Well, people in Florida, used to catastrophes, clearly An Australian man said he survived a 1 in a million incident when a breaching whale knocked him off his surfboard. Footage filmed by a camera on a nearby board shows the moment the whale comes out of the water and knocks the 55-year-old surfer down. The man admitted that he feared for his life when the whale dragged him underwater by the board leash attached to his leg. He said he was lucky because he felt the leash break, and from there he got free from under the whale's body, surfaced, and thanked his lucky stars that something that was not supposed to break had broken. It is amazing that there happened to be someone nearby accidentally filming the whole incident. Famous surfer Conor Maguire enjoyed huge waves in Ireland. Hurricane Epsilon, which hit the coast, delivered them to him. This is the exact kind of moment that surfers call epic. Some of the waves reached an impressive 59 feet. According to a Red Bull press release, the dramatic surfing conditions in the Irish Atlantic were caused by a rare weather event in which a hurricane merged with a mid-latitude depression.
Keep running. Here comes another wave. Hold on. Hold on.
A surfer rescued swimmers from a strong rip current on Long Beach Island, New Jersey, capturing the dramatic intervention on camera. Footage from his camera shows the moment he rescued people struggling in chaotic, powerful waves. Later, he said he was happy to be in the right place at the right time. He added, "When you think you cannot help, chances are you can." The video may not look especially epic, but the previous weekend, 2 swimmers drowned on this beach, and another person is believed to have died after being caught in rip currents.
You can stand. Come on. Get out. Come on. Keep running. Here comes another wave. Hold on. Hold on. What? Who's that? Where's the lady at?
The force of storm waves along the California coast was clearly demonstrated in this footage. A woman stayed in her car at a scenic overlook in Santa Cruz to watch the ocean when the water crashed into her vehicle. Later, she said the giant wave moved her car about 5 feet, poured seawater inside, threw rocks into the cabin through the sunroof, and damaged the outside of the vehicle. The woman sat in her car, soaked by the ocean, and only then realized that a rock or piece of debris could have killed her if it had flown through the windshield. Because of the severe weather, the sheriff's office asked people to stay away from the shoreline. Stunning aerial footage captured waves crashing over a rock pool in the Mona Vale area of Sydney. This pool is located literally in the middle of the ocean, where Mona Vale Beach and Basin Beach meet. Because of COVID-19 restrictions, both beaches were empty, and for a while, the raging waves were the only masters of the place. Residents of Normanville in South Australia were enjoying a morning walk on the beach when they saw a kangaroo happily swimming in the ocean. The footage shows the kangaroo's head popping out of the waves before it walks out of the water like an ordinary vacationer. This adorable video captured Emmett, a 19-year-old grizzly bear at Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, as he settled comfortably in the snow and caught snowflakes on his tongue. The footage became a symbol of winter joy, even though this bear and his companion had not previously been known for an easygoing nature because of several negative interactions with people before they were removed from the wild. Grizzlies live in the Rocky Mountain region and do not go into full hibernation. Instead, they keep eating and gain enough weight to survive the cold with their thick fur. This guy is lucky. He does not have to worry about food and can enjoy a snowy day just like a child. A herd of moose struggled through deep snow after severe winter weather hit Stevens Pass in Washington. In this footage, we watch the herd making its way with difficulty through the winter landscape. Reports said Stevens Pass was closed because of heavy snowfall and avalanche danger, while crews worked through the night to clear the road of snow and debris. But no one was doing that for the moose, so they had to manage on their own.
In Colorado, 132 avalanches were recorded between December 18 and December 20, and people were injured. Colorado's mountain ranges pose a significant risk of natural avalanches. But now, there are also risks from avalanches triggered by human activity. Just look at the scale. This footage shows a small avalanche in Silverton filmed on December 19. A witness commented that the snow was roaring as it came down the mountain. New filming technologies give us amazing ways to see and understand how time and space interact on a grand scale. Most people have never seen anything like this, but if you use time-lapse photography and point the camera at the starry sky, you can enjoy a fantastic view and rethink the existence of all life on Earth. Just step up to a higher level. To truly grasp the essence of a phenomenon like a thunderstorm, there is no better perspective than looking at the cloud front from an airplane. Only from this height can you see the full structure of storm clouds from every side. Mesmerizing, isn't it? Powerful lightning bolts slicing through the sky with enviable persistence are a frightening sight, especially when you are on the road and home is still far away. The orange sky over San Francisco in 2020 looked as if the city had become part of an apocalyptic movie shoot. The sky shifted from yellow to red because of a series of powerful wildfires that filled it with thick smoke. So, beyond the terrifying blood-red color, the air also became choking and toxic. In 2020, in the densely populated municipality of Steamboat Springs, Colorado, the world's largest single firework was launched. A shell weighing more than a ton rose into the sky to an altitude of about 0.9 miles and exploded into a huge fiery flower. This unforgettable event did more than break records. It left everyone who saw it with bright memories for a lifetime. I just do not know what occasion this mega blast was launched for. If you know, write it in the comments. Eyewitnesses could not understand whether they should stay and admire this beauty or run away from it like in a disaster movie. When 7,000 fireworks explode at the same time, it is usually for a good reason. In 2012, this was how Independence Day was celebrated in San Diego, California. I agree, that scale looked insane, but it was the ultimate fireworks show. In the past, dreamers wondered why people could not fly like birds, and now in the 21st century, people are absolutely flying. Skydiving is not standing still. It keeps inventing new equipment to make jumps and flights safer and more exciting. Would you want to join these guys?
This time, what you are seeing is not a tourist jump, but an airborne deployment from a military aircraft. You can tell just by how coordinated and synchronized their movements are. We have included scenes like this more than once before, but flocks of thousands of birds are something you can watch forever. It feels almost like meditation when they begin moving through the sky in perfect synchronization, forming incredible and never repeating shapes and patterns.
Wow. What's really going on?
When you see something like this, it is both mesmerizing and frightening. The madness of such huge flocks can make superstitious people worry, since folk beliefs include many ominous signs connected to this kind of bird behavior. However, there is a logical, or more precisely scientific, explanation for their gatherings. Their seemingly chaotic movements help birds protect themselves from predators, conserve heat, and exchange information about food sources.
Crazy.
The effect of a solar prism makes it look as if reality has suddenly turned into a video game or a charming animation. The halo around the solar disk is easy to explain scientifically. Like a rainbow, it is the result of light refracting as it passes through ice crystals in clouds. These crystals are high in the atmosphere and create a picturesque spectrum. Nature can go even further. A phenomenon where a cloud combines with a rainbow is called a scarf cloud. These clouds form when moist air containing solid ice particles cools and condenses. Sunlight hitting at the right angle refracts through droplets and ice crystals in the cloud, and a rainbow appears. A scarf cloud forms through a powerful updraft rising from below, but its beauty is often a sign of bad weather. Here is another colorful collection of rainbow hallucinations. Horizontal clouds. The show created by ice crystals looks inspiring and magical. You never know what you might come across during an ordinary bike ride. A guy riding through Greenwood, Indiana was caught off guard by a single beam in the sky. It looked as if someone were operating a solar flashlight. The strange beam in the clouds behaved like a directed spotlight, and no one has a clear explanation for the phenomenon. One thing is certain, even if it is only an optical illusion, it looks absolutely fantastic. We are convinced that the rays of sunset or sunrise always point upward and therefore dissolve above us. But let us look at how it can happen differently. Sometimes they seem to run into the opposite wall of the horizon. This phenomenon is called anti-crepuscular rays. You have to admit, it surprises and captivates, as if a dome of light is forming overhead. In the past, people thought that silhouettes like these on the sea horizon were ghosts of sunken ships drifting through the ocean like invisible shadows and warning of disaster.
In reality, what we are seeing is a rare optical phenomenon, the reflection of an object located beyond the reach of our field of view.
The idea is the same, but there is no mysticism here, just the physics of light.
In footage taken from the water, it looks as though time and infinity decided to play with us. One half of the frame is still bright daytime with the last glow of sunset burning out, while the other is already ruled by night, with the moon shining and the dark sky opening wide. How is that possible? It is as if the world froze between two realities and you found yourself right in the middle. Day and night seem able to exist at the same time. Yes, this phenomenon can be observed in polar regions during the summer or winter solstice, when day and night meet each other. It is amazing to watch storm clouds from a distance, especially when you are flying past them in an airplane. Every time lightning strikes, the plane shakes a little, but it is completely safe. Remember, even if lightning hits the plane directly, pilots will keep everything under control. Just look, this is proof that the aircraft is designed for situations like this. No, this is not a scene from a science fiction movie, and it is not digital editing. A long cloud called a morning glory moves along the horizon like a massive wave. Clouds like this, packed into one ridge that churns and breathes, form a storm collar stretching 0.6 to 1.2 miles high. It often hangs 330 to 660 feet above the ground and moves at speeds of up to about 37 miles per hour, which is why it looks so hostile and threatening. In fact, it is. A storm comes with it. Stunning images taken from space by the Suomi satellite show more than just clouds. This is what a real natural disaster looks like from above, and only from orbit could the full power of Cyclone Freddy be seen. In the spring of 2023, it raced across the southern Indian Ocean, bringing destruction to several countries. Among those affected were Madagascar, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. One of the most unusual atmospheric phenomena is called a lenticular cloud. These perfectly smooth, almost artificial-looking formations are created by air currents over elevated terrain. People who see them are often frightened, but there is no reason to worry. Just enjoy another creation of nature. One look at these powerful storm clouds makes you wonder what could have angered the heavens so badly. Residents of the town of Laguna in Brazil saw the mesmerizing spectacle. Needless to say, soon after this black cloud arrived, a severe storm with torrential rain hit the town, and a tornado swept through a neighboring town. In 2015, a series of images of unusual clouds over the Chinese city of Foshan triggered a storm of theories. People wondered what it was and came up with ideas, each more absurd than the last. Some said it was the result of a secret NASA project, others called it an optical illusion, and some even saw proof of parallel universes. However, meteorologists explained that what people saw was a superior mirage known as a fata morgana. This complex optical phenomenon consists of several forms of mirages and occurs when layers of air with different densities alternate in the atmosphere. They create mirror reflections. That is why the outlines looked so realistic. They were actually reflecting the shapes of real buildings. You have to admit, the illusion of cities floating in the sky would make a great foundation for a science fiction novel or movie. When we encounter a fata morgana mirage and see reflections of buildings or even entire cities in the sky, for a moment we can feel as if we are in a fairy tale where the laws of our world no longer apply. An alarming black smoke ring hung over an industrial city in Virginia, sparking all kinds of theories among residents. They considered every fantastical explanation except the real one. There had been an explosion at a transformer station on the edge of town. That is where this mysterious smoker came from. Many people were genuinely frightened when they saw a sight like this in the sky, and that is understandable because a massive roll of clouds does not promise anything pleasant. It looks like the approach of the apocalypse. Sometimes storm clouds take on all kinds of bizarre shapes, but this cloud giant probably scared many eyewitnesses. Its menacing gaze seems to drill right through you. When a helicopter is near clouds or water droplets, light can refract through the moisture, creating sparkling rings or a rainbow halo around the rotor. So this is not a trick, but a natural phenomenon. A strange, horizontal firework streaked across the sunset sky. The first thing eyewitnesses thought of was a failed attempt to launch another starship, right? They were almost right. These strange, mesmerizing lights turned out to be debris from a spacecraft that crashed over islands in the Atlantic Ocean. The bright glow and the trail that gradually widened were enough to make even the most skeptical people think about UFO conspiracy theories. It is hard to shake that intrusive thought, especially when you have no idea about the Falcon 9 rocket launch that took place on December 22, 2017. Here is more eyewitness footage from people who were also lucky enough to witness the grand spectacle. When the Falcon 9 launch vehicle broke apart in the atmosphere, it left bright streaks behind, looking like a meteor shower. Eyewitnesses did not hold back their excitement as they watched the giant procession of falling stars in the night sky.
Wow. Oh my lord. Holy it's a giant shooting star.
This optical illusion is completely real and is called the moon illusion. When the moon is low above the horizon, our brain perceives it as much larger than when we see it high in the sky. Imagine how lucky you would be to witness a moment like this. Imagine climbing a mountain, turning around, and seeing a giant shadow with a glowing halo around it. It looks pretty unsettling. But in reality, you are observing a rare optical phenomenon called the Brocken specter, or mountain specter. When sunlight refracts through fog, it creates the appearance of a huge figure, which many people in the past may have mistaken for a ghost or a bad omen. It is good that science solved this mystery long ago, otherwise we would still be afraid to climb mountains.
Look over the crust box, you'll see the planet Venus.
An unusual astronomical phenomenon appears when the planet Venus passes in front of the lunar disk, and all these excited cries from eyewitnesses make it clear that hundreds and thousands of people around the world tried not to miss the show. Do you think this is a smoking coal drifting across the sky? In reality, this is an airplane cutting through the air while its engines sharply change the temperature and pressure around them, causing water vapor to condense into steam train-like plumes.
The structure of clouds gives us an especially clear idea of the processes happening in the atmosphere. Have you ever seen a hole appear in the sky as if someone punched right through it? Believe it or not, this phenomenon is actually scientifically called a hole punch cloud. It happens when a sudden temperature change causes clouds to separate. A visible gap remains in the sky, and that is when we start fantasizing and inventing fantastical explanations for it. For some people, the northern lights are simply a stunning natural show, but for scientists, they reveal secrets of the universe. NASA recently launched a rocket from Alaska to study how solar wind particles interact with Earth's atmosphere. This could provide valuable information about the mystery of our planet's existence and its connection to the sun. A cute plush astronaut bear did more than symbolize kindness. It worked as a real technical tester for space research. In 2021, the bear went into space as part of a scientific experiment by the University of Nottingham's campus in Ningbo, China. The teddy bear was equipped with sensors to study microgravity and the effects of space conditions on different materials. So the toy was chosen not just to make funny photos, although the photos did turn out that way. On the evening of December 27, 2018, the sky over New York took on an eerie blue-green shade. People started looking for reasons and, of course, remembered UFOs, but the real explanation was much simpler. A powerful explosion occurred at the Con Edison substation, which supplies the region with electricity and gas. The bright, otherworldly light was caused by a transformer discharge that ionized gases in the atmosphere, so aliens do not deserve the blame for everything. On the evening of December 9, 2009, a huge glowing spiral object was seen in the sky over Norway. It rotated and gradually expanded, becoming visible to more cities. Mystically minded eyewitnesses turned to conspiracy theories, while others connected the spiral light to the northern lights. However, the real explanation turned out to be no less amazing. The spiral in the sky was the trail from a failed launch of the Russian Bulava missile. Its debris, spinning as it fell to Earth, created this unusual effect. Imagine looking at the night sky and suddenly seeing a huge blue dragon appear above you. But this is not a mirage. It is an impressive drone show in South Korea, where thousands of glowing drones were launched over the water to form the image of a mythical creature. Amazing! What would have seemed like sorcery to our ancestors is now called modern programming, and it can turn the dark sky into a canvas for fantastic pictures. An unusual flight enthusiast named John had 170 helium balloons, used them to build an entire parachute, and headed into the sky. He managed to reach an altitude of almost 11,500 feet and land safely. John can definitely be called an expert in thrilling adventures. And yes, some people know how to find joy in life, and they are not short on courage.
Well, got that done, man. That was pretty good, yeah.
You ready? Oh, yeah.
Hey.
That is all for today. This has been Eternity Lab, the laboratory of timeless content. Write in the comments which moment shocked you the most. Subscribe and watch our previous episodes, which are already on your screen. They will definitely shock you.